I want to talk about references and reference checks. One of the services that I provide to Resume Day clients is checking their references for them. I will take on the persona of a potential hiring manager and call their former managers to find out what they have to say in a reference check. Now, most people think that if someone's going to be on your reference list, they're going to say great things, right? Well, usually that's the intention, but keep in mind that your references don't necessarily know what questions are going to be asked, and they don't necessarily know the things that they should say. When this happens, things can go a little bit off track, and something like this happened last week that I want to share with you. So my client, she's a very capable executive level employee for nonprofits, and very smart, very sharp, and I was expecting to hear great things from her references. So she gave me 3 people to call. One woman and 2 men, all were former supervisors. So I called the woman, the first person on the list, and asked about my client's skills and strengths and attributes. And I found out a lot about the projects that my client had worked on, the employees that she had trained, the networking that she had done for the organization on their behalf, all great things. It was the type of reference that everybody would want to get. So then I went on to the next reference, again, a gentleman, and when I asked about my client's strengths and skills, he had said one of the things that I've always admired about her was her ability to get her work done despite going through a vicious and acrimonious divorce. So I, just as any employer would, just kind of followed the path of the conversation, asked more questions and got more information, and found out again what the supervisor was saying, that she never let her clients down. She kept to her timeline, even though her divorce was, and going into kind of personal details about my client's divorce. So of course I took excellent notes on everything that he said, thanked him for his time, and moved on. Then I went to the third reference, another gentleman, and he said, one of the things I really liked about her was her desire to make her worldview larger now that motherhood was behind her. And again, just as any employer would, I asked some questions based on what he had just said and took some notes, and I found out a lot about her children, who are wonderful people, and they were raised wonderfully and all of that. So now let's talk about this. Let's recap on this. If I had just called those last 2 employers, what would I have learned about my client? I would have learned that she was a divorced mother, a divorced great mother. But, and neither of those 2 traits should get my client kicked out of the job running. But at the same time, as a potential employer, I didn't learn anything from those last 2 references about specific skills, about specific impact that my client made for the organization that no one else would have. And of course, we cannot ignore the gender-based evaluation. What I find, I do these calls a lot, and what I find is that supervisors, both men and women, are willing to bring more of a woman's story into her reference. And frankly, in 16 years of doing this, that's never happened to a man, to one of my clients who is a man. So again, that's something that we really can't be overlooked, that can't be overlooked. Now, keep in mind that both of these references, they had nothing but the best intentions for my client. They want my client to succeed. They want to be part of my client's success. But as a potential employer, I could hear these things and wonder, is my client's personal life going to be brought into the office every day? Is she ready for the next stage in her career? Those types of questions don't lead to job offers. So job seekers, it is your job to keep your references in check. Let your references know what questions they should expect to be asked. Let your references know what things you want them to talk about and what things you want them to steer clear of, so that these types of mistakes aren't made. And if they are, quite frankly, it's your job to go back and make corrections. Talk to your people about, what type of things they should be saying now that that this reference check is behind them. So now the pitch. I can help you with all this. I can give you a list of questions that your references should expect to be asked. I can call your references for you and make sure that those things aren't going to be said, even if the conversation kind of nudges them in one direction or the other. And I can coach you on how to coach your references on saying great things, on staying on point, and of course, steering clear of the things that they shouldn't talk about. All of this is important. And that's your job. And that's what I do. I'm Lauren Milligan with Resume Day.